Are we recording already?
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna go, bro.
Oh, what's up?
What's up, bro?
I didn't even know we were in. Shoot, my bad. How's your week, big dog?
Oh, dude, it was chilling, bro. We're just vibing, man. Midterms, couple midterms this week, but you know, we're just chilling other than that.
Did you pause?
Yeah, of course. I got 100 on my Book of Mormon midterm actually, bro.
I feel like that's something you're supposed to get.
Yeah, no, like for sure, but
like I don't know if that's
proud
a
of me
flex
for that though, dog. Like,
no, I'm proud,
hype,
but it's
dog.
like
not like, bro.
It's like I expect you to get 100%.
Yeah, but still, it's a. All right, whatever.
Okay, wait. Tell me. What was one of the questions?
To be honest, bro, I blew through that thing in like 15 minutes. So I couldn't even tell you like one of the like legitimate questions. Oh, actually, I could.
Doesn't sound like you knew what you were doing.
No, I remember. So right now, like the midterm was on like the second half of Alma. Okay, so one of the questions was
like war chapters type action.
Yeah, like war chapters.
Yep.
Like starting with like Alma's advice to his sons and
classic Alma 30 type action.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Middle Alma 30. And one of the questions was, where were the fathers of the 2,000 stripling warriors during the war?
I'll be honest, I did know that. And now that you just asked me, I literally forgot.
They were bringing provisions, bro.
They were, bro.
They were bringing the provisions.
Would you hear that? Did you remember when President Sorensen
them.
had that big discussion about that?
Honestly, no, dog.
I wasn't listening either.
Anyways, how was your week?
It was all right, man. Just getting ready for my trip.
Yeah.
For those who are listening, the 5 people, I'm going to Samoa tomorrow. You know how it is.
He's going down there for a week.
Going down for a week.
We're excited.
I'm probably gonna miss my flight if I have to be 100% honest.
No, you won't.
Guarantee something's gonna go wrong.
No. I won't let it, dog. You better call me, even if it's at 3 a.m.
What are you, the pilot?
Yeah, I am, bro. I'll fly you to Samoa, dog. And then there will be no more Guest 99 podcast because we're both going to be dead.
Guest 99, man. Play the intro real quick, dude. You know how it is. But, yeah, that's it for us, man. We got a sick guest today.
Yeah, we do. I'm excited for this one.
Yep, super excited. Behind the scenes shot, she actually canceled on us last week. And we had to.
But it's okay. We had plenty of people. Like calling us, like, yo, put me on the pod.
Like during general conference too.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, man, you got time to call us during general conference? One of the general authorities.
Well, I felt inspired to call you. Actually, it was one of the promptings of general conference.
Oh no way.
That's what they were telling me, at least.
I must have missed the email. Shoot,
yeah, you probably did.
Definitely. But yeah, let's introduce her. We have our good old friend Baylie Evans coming in. If Baylie, if you want to come in real quick.
Come in here. Thank you, Baylie, for joining us. Get the mic lined up.
Were you just sitting in the corner the whole time?
Yeah. Yeah, I was just chilling over there.
Oh,
bro, you guys didn't get her a better spot than that.
Come on, boys.
My bad.
All right, forget him.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's fired.
It's
happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. We're happy to have you. But no, how's your week, Baylie? I mean,
it was good. Honestly, it was probably the busiest week of my entire life. But
wow,
this is
like busier than the mission.
Different, but
okay,
I didn't sleep much of the first half of the week, like less than
just like
4 or 5 hours a night. No, doing homework.
I see my fault.
Studying.
Yeah, but yeah, this is a good way to end the week.
Did it pay off? Like, did you have midterms this week or like what?
I actually also took my Book of Mormon midterm this week.
Did you get 100 on it?
And I did get 100.
What?
Oh no, it's okay. That's expected.
And,
like, we expected you to get that.
Yeah, it's expected. Come on, guys.
I'm doing the second half too, though, starting in Alma, but did not have that question on mine. So
who do you take it with?
Brother Taker, Stephen Taker.
Okay, yeah, different.
That's a cool name. Brother Taker.
Yeah.
I take it from John, by the way, actually. So John,
really?
If you're listening to this, you should probably make that test a little harder. But after this semester, like keep the midterms the same right now.
Also, you're most welcome to come on Guest 99.
Absolutely, we'd love to have you. We'd also be sponsored on your podcast as well.
My professor also has a podcast, actually.
Really?
So that's why I took.
What's it about?
It's they do a general conference talk every week.
That's cool. That's cool.
Well,
kind of like
they have new content every 6 months.
Yep.
We have new content every week.
That's what we do, baby.
Yeah.
Big dog.
Absolutely.
Big dog.
Love it.
Well, really, once again, thank you for coming on to our podcast. Let the people know who you are. Introduce yourself, where you're from, where you serve your mission, and what do you like to do for fun?
Ooh, good questions. So I'm Baylie. I'm from Harriman, Utah, and I served in the Michigan-Detroit mission, so Michigan, Ohio area.
Hey, that's the only people we can get these days.
Wait till next week.
Yeah, for real. Okay, I feel like being Michigan-Detroit mission alumni.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people ask
Is that what we're calling it, alumni?
Mount Rushmore, I should have said. My fault.
What?
You know how it is.
Makes no sense.
not rush. What?
Because we're the greatest. You know, the greatest five from the Michigan Detroit mission.
All right, for sure, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, moving on. But I feel like a lot of people ask me, say, man, what did you think when you first opened your call and it said Detroit? What did you think?
I was shocked just in that I had never met anyone that had gone there before. So like it was just the thought of going to Michigan never crossed my mind.
Yep.
So like I read that and I was like, oh, okay. But then it like felt right. So I was like, okay, this is really cool. But
Okay.
I was just like, never would have even considered. Like no one in my life guessed that. Like just
That's
random.
fair. I
Random place,
I
eh?
didn't know either. What was your first thought, right? Because like everyone like knows like Detroit, Chicago, right? Like those, that
Michigan.
kind of area.
Yeah.
Like no one really knows much about Michigan, at least like where I'm from, at least. But
Oh,
like
yeah.
Detroit, people have heard of Detroit. So like, what was your first thought? Like you saw Detroit, what were you thinking? Like,
No, honestly, like I thought it was so chill. Like everyone, when you say Detroit, they're like, "Oh, that's kind of scary." But I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, I like the city. Like I've always been like a big city type person, and so I was like, okay, that's cool." Like I literally didn't think twice about it. But everyone you tell is like, "Oh, that's kind of
Yeah, it's
scary,"
kinda
and I'm like,
sketchy, There you
was
go.
it ever sketchy? Like, did you ever have times like on the mission where you're like, oh man, like this is a little intense right now?
like a handful. But I was in like cornfields of Ohio most of the time.
Okay.
Actually, I think most of my like scariest experiences were actually when I was in Lakewood, right outside of Cleveland. So Cleveland was worse than Detroit was for me.
Was it?
Yeah.
I never had the honor to go to
Bro,
Cleveland.
I served both. I served Cleveland and Detroit. Cleveland is different.
It is.
What
It
makes it
feels
different?
Very
totally different.
bro.
What is it? What makes it different?
I don't know.
I've actually thought a lot about that because I was so curious as to why it was different. In Detroit, right, you got like this very like hustle mentality in Detroit, right? Like
Yeah.
you got scrappers, people
Yup.
that like just pick up stuff from the side of the road. They're doing anything they can like to make a living and just like very hustle attitude.
For sure.
Cleveland's very just laid back,
Really?
chilled.
So
They
true.
don't they're just vibing with anything and everything that goes their way. And so I feel like that's kind of like the difference between the two, and I feel like it leads a lot into like those people, like when you're there, you kind of are used to that vibe of just like, oh, people are just chill, like no one really gives me a hard time.
Yep.
That way, when you do get into a situation where it might be a little bit more intense, a little bit more scary, people are a little upset with you, it kind of hits you a little bit harder because you're not as used to that. You're used to people being nice. You're used to people being chill and relaxed with you.
Interesting.
And I feel like that's kind of like, at least for me, that's what I realized. Because I served in like downtown Cleveland,
Yeah.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
And so definitely had some experiences that were a little intense as well. But
Yeah, did you feel like in those experiences, I mean, this is good for both of you guys, but did you feel protected?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, I never had anything like too sketchy,
Crazy.
but there was like a time when like the police were around, they were looking for someone, and I was like, I felt totally, we're like, oh, this is actually kind of scary, but I felt totally calm, and we just like got out of there fine. Like it was, but so yeah, I think for sure.
So like obviously like when you're serving the Lord, right, you got that black name badge on. I mean, the Lord is definitely looking out for you. So if you went back now, do you think you feel the same protection, or do you feel like it'll be a little bit different?
I think I went back to Michigan this summer and
yeah.
Ohio, and it definitely did feel a little different. Like you get kind of the same feelings, but you don't feel as invincible as you did.
yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm 6'5", right? Like 250, right? So
Wait, say that again.
6'5", 250, right? So like, so yes, the Lord was definitely protecting me, and I definitely felt safe. But at the same time, like, there's very few people that even gave me that hard of a time.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
could take him.
Where I felt like I was endangered, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, for sure.
I can remember like one incident in particular, like in Toledo, I had this super short companion. He may or may not be here on the set tonight.
Oh, how
But it's
short?
like people didn't mess with us. Like it didn't matter who my companion was. People just didn't mess with us.
You can scrap, bro. You can scrap.
But but I love him. I do love him.
He's got hands, huh?
He's throwing hands right now. But I felt protected for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it didn't matter like how big I was. Like there was a sense of protection that you couldn't create just based off of like your physical attributes.
For real.
For sure.
I remember like in being in Detroit as well, just walking down the street at nighttime, chilling.
Yeah.
You literally feel invincible.
Yeah, you feel.
And I'm
fine.
like afraid to put the rubbish bins on the road anymore now, dude. At nighttime, it's one of those when you put it and you sprint back into the house.
yeah,
For
one of those.
sure.
And I'm like,
It's like when you turn off the lights in the dark room and you're a kid and you're like running up the stairs. Like, oh my God, someone chasing me.
that's exactly it, man. I don't know
For
what
sure.
it is, man. I don't know what it is, but I love it. I love it. Well, let me ask you this: how long you been back for your mission?
Almost 9 months now.
9 months. That is crazy. Let me ask you this: did you in a whole, did you enjoy it?
My mission?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
What'd you love about it?
I mean, there's so many different things, but I feel like I just felt the most like pure and genuine joy. Like I learned more in that time than like any time in my whole life. And it was fun, and it was a new experience, and it was something totally different than I've ever done. And I feel like I learned a lot about what mattered most, and that's what I was focused on for a year and a half, was like what actually mattered most. And so I think that was what I liked the most about it.
Man, put it on a t-shirt, bro.
Amen. Back-to-back weeks with just fire quotes.
Straight
last week,
bangers.
Jorgensen, Cambria had some good quotes.
I need to hear those.
Oh, you hear
You'll
it.
hear 'em.
Subscribe to the channel.
Oh, okay.
Whatever camera I'm looking at.
Both cameras. We got 2 cameras here. Both
Definitely,
angles.
definitely.
No, but I love that, right? You're focused on what matters most. And I feel like it's easy to do that. Easy is relative on the mission, right? But easy to do that. That's what your whole life is focused on. How do you stay focused on what matters most post mission?
It's hard. I think that's been one of the hardest things for me, is that there is like you can have such like a one-track mind on the mission. Like there's one thing, but at home there's so many distractions. There's so many things you have to work about. Think about. Like there's like work and school and just life. And I think to stay focused on those things that matter most, like I have to like intentionally think about it a lot. I have to take time like every day. And I've been trying to focus a lot on like relationships, because I think that's one of the things that matters most. And so if I can keep my focus on that, then it helps my priorities kind of stay in line, I feel like.
Well, I want to dive into that. You said relationships, like just with general people or with the Lord or with your family. What is it? With who?
Both, all the way. I think one of the things that God's been teaching me most since being home is like just focusing on the two great commandments. Like that's what it is. That's what it all comes down to, is to like love God and love others. Yep. And so that's what I try to like start every day with, is that, and have things revolve around that. And it's like, obviously that's like easier said than done, but that's kind of what I'm trying to.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not, man.
I was actually thinking kind of a little bit about this concept earlier today, actually, where it's just like, I feel like the stronger a relationship, or I guess you could say the better friends we are with Christ, the better we can know Christ, and the better we can become like him as well. Yeah. Right? Like if we're focused on that relationship, right? Because like you think about like your best friend, right? Or someone that you know really well, you know their tendencies, you know what they're about to do, you know what they're about to say, you know who they are. Yeah. Right? I want to be the same way with Christ, right? Like, and yeah, it's easy to say, oh, would Christ do that? But like, right, it's a little bit different, right? When we're friends with Christ, when we're like really like best friends with Christ, I feel like that's when we can really start to become more like him. Yeah. And like, because his tendencies become our tendencies, right? Your best friend rubs off on you. Hopefully you rub off on them. And so I want Christ to rub off on me. I want to become more like Christ. And I think having that relationship with Christ and focusing on that every day is one of the best ways to do that. Yeah. For sure.
No, I agree. I think, like for me, I don't know what, it's weird. Like on the mission, that's when people say, hey, Jesus Christ is my best friend. I thought about that. I was like, it's kind of cringy, but no, I'm being honest. But like, I came to understand the concept of it, like get to know him your own way, right? Yeah, yeah. Obviously, Jesus Christ knows us individually, one by one, and he knows what we love as well. So like, if he's my best friend, he can come play hoop or something.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, but for real though.
Hit him with a little hezzy.
Maybe one day.
one day.
Maybe one day.
Definitely. But another thing is what you said is like work and school and church things and relationships. Mm-hmm. How do you balance all of that?
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Welcome to the club.
It's a lot. It's like right now it feels like I pick work, school, eating, or sleeping, and I don't get all of them at the same time. Yeah. But I think perspective helps. Like I think that's what I try to focus on, is like what really is the most important, and that's what balance is. Also, one of my favorite things is what something Elder Bednar said. I don't know when, I don't know why, but he was talking about balance, and someone asked like, how do you balance? Because he's like an apostle, and he was like, balance doesn't exist. It's not a real thing. You just gotta, what he does is like focus on what you're doing right then. Like if it's family time, it's family time. If it's being an apostle. Oh, I guess he's an apostle all the time, but like if it's work, it's work, and that's how you have to do it.
How do you decide? Obviously, work, you're on a schedule, but how do you decide like what is what? Like, right? Because you have to balance all those things, but you have to have a social life, right? Like, you have to, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna stay sane, you have to be doing something to get out and stay public. So how do you decide like what's what? How do you decide like what's school, what's work, what's social, what's church, what's, you know what I mean? Like, because it might not all balance together, right? But how are you gonna make sure you're focusing on school when it's time for school besides class?
I mean, it takes a lot of self-discipline, which I don't have all the time, but
Me too. We're working on it. We're not perfect.
that's a really good question. Maybe someone else has a better answer because I'm still trying to figure it out. But
But I think that is the answer.
fair.
Right?
I think that's fair. Yeah, like I like that answer because we don't have all the answers.
yeah,
Right? I mean, that's half the reason we're doing this is to ask people for us, but for you guys out there as well who are listening to be able to get some answers as well. And so, Baylie, go listen to another episode. Maybe someone else will have
maybe someone else will have the
I
answer.
think you're gonna have to listen to all the episodes actually to find the answer. But
Yeah.
Like, what, like 200 episodes these days?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We just not releasing
2
it. Just not
episodes.
releasing it.
Unreleased.
2 episodes, non-edited. It's all good. You know. Well, I want to ask you this.
Okay.
Coming back off the mission, right? Did you struggle with anything?
Yeah, it was hard for me.
Yeah.
It was really hard. I think the biggest struggle I had was just kind of knowing my place. Like I felt like you have a place always on the mission. Like you know what you're supposed to do every day. And I got home and I was like, I had my same friends and like I love them, but I was like, they had lives for a year and a half, and I was trying to figure out how I fit back into those. And even like my family, like I was with them, you know, when I got back for like 2 days, and then everyone went back to work and school. And and that was like the hardest part for me, was like feeling like I actually belonged in places, if that makes sense.
No, I get what you're saying.
So that's like the
It's
biggest
true
thing.
though. Hey, it's just like, because one thing that was crazy for me on my mission is like, when I said bye to my family, like for them, like, all right, we're not gonna see you for 2 years, so they just forgot, did everything without me, right? But in my mind, I'm like, man,
I miss my family.
they went to Disneyland without me,
Yeah.
bro. Never been.
Oh man,
Never
Disney.
been. My whole family's never been, and they just decided to go when I was out, and I was like, okay.
You've
let's see how
never
it
been
is.
to Disneyland,
Nope.
We're going.
but you're going to Samoa
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
That
Priorities,
makes-
man. There's
that
levels to
makes
it. You and I
sense.
know. But no, I definitely agree, because I think just trying to find a place. Like, you come back, people come and they say what's up to you. They catch up for like 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is, and they just go back to their lives.
Yeah.
And in your mind, you're like, man, I thought I was going to have like these crazy conversations and just be a part, like be the middle of everything.
Yeah,
Which that might be a mistake on our part,
maybe.
because people have lives, right? People have things to do.
Maybe it is, but maybe it's not. Like that, because that's been multiple weeks in a row. That, I mean, I felt like that.
Yeah.
We've all felt like that, and other people I've talked to have felt like that. So like, I feel like it's just the normal expectation, and maybe as members of the ward of a returned missionary that's come home, maybe we need to do a better job, and family members, right, of doing that for those missionaries, so that they don't have to feel that way.
Yeah,
Right? Maybe there just needs the awareness of, right? Because like as time goes on, you forget, maybe not forget, but you don't remember as easily those experiences that you had when you first got home, right? So maybe just as members of that ward or of the family, like we just need to do a better job of welcoming them home, making them feel like, hey, we did miss you for those 2 years,
yeah,
right? And whatever else, and making them feel like it mattered.
yeah.
So like, obviously your family probably welcomes you with open arms.
Mm-hmm.
How was like the ward or the acquaintances? How was that?
Well, so funny thing is, like my ward that I came home to, my family moved while I was in college the year before, so I didn't really know them.
Yeah, it's a tough
So like I gave my farewell talk from there, but like I didn't know anybody.
Yeah,
And then I
exactly,
got home
exactly.
and I was like, still don't know anybody. But so like that wasn't really, and then I moved to Provo like a week later. But I had so many things going on every Sunday that like, well, one, like I didn't know a lot of people there. But I also was not in my, technically like my YSA ward, like
Yeah.
ever. Like I was going to homecomings, farewells, like family things. And so I didn't really get like in there. But as far as like friends and acquaintances and stuff, like it was like, they're so good. Like I have really good friends. Like I'm really blessed. The thing that I think is just a little difficult is like a lot of them didn't serve missions. And so they just don't like, they're super welcoming and like like obviously I could tell like they miss me and I miss them and everything, but they just don't know what it's like to come back.
It's not the same.
Yeah,
It's not,
and so
bro.
they don't know
It is
exactly.
not the
And
same.
I was blessed because my roommate that I moved in with, she did serve a mission, so she was constantly like checking up on me and stuff.
Yeah.
But like aside from that, there's, so I think people just not in like an ignorant way or like a bad way. They just don't fully understand, and I don't love saying that, but they like. It's kind of true.
It's true. Yeah.
It's definitely different for everyone. It's because, I mean, you go on your mission, you're surrounded by your companion 24/7. You go out and I don't want to say force, but you're invited to talk to a lot of people and to help people come closer to Christ. And then you come home and it's like, all right, good job. What are you doing for school? What are you doing for work? When you getting married? I'm just like,
What's
Yeah.
your major?
bro, I'm just trying to watch the World Cup. Like, what's going on here?
No, like they expect you to jump back in like nothing just happened,
Definitely,
and you're
yeah.
like, I feel like a different person, but this world around me feels the same as it did when I left.
Are you still on the, like, are you still trying to get back to that point where you're feeling good, or do you think you're there now, or what do you think it is?
I think it comes and goes in waves. I feel like mostly like after maybe like 6 months home, I was like, okay, I
Trying to
kind
get
of
back
feel like in a
into it?
groove of things,
Yep.
but like it still comes and goes in waves. Like when I'm at work and
That's
school.
it, bro. That's it.
It's really interesting because one of the specific things that stood out to me last week from Cambria was she said it took me about 6 months to adjust to the mission, so I'm gonna take about 6 months to adjust back from the mission.
Yeah.
Cooking, bro.
And you just confirmed that right there. Like
Yeah.
it was perfect right there. Like yeah, it took me about 6 months until I finally
Yeah.
felt like okay, I got this again.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. I think that's some good advice right there. Is give yourself 6 months.
Give yourself time.
Like, it takes
I
time.
think that's really like a lot of people because everyone around them expects them to jump back into things. They think, oh, I have to have everything figured out and feel normal
Yeah.
in like this week. But like it's okay to not feel like
Yeah.
that. Like it's okay to take your time to be like, yeah, this is weird. This is different. Like that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. And then follow-up question. So I don't know about you guys, but for me, like I had a thought or an expectation on how my life was gonna be when I came back.
Yeah.
Did you have that as well?
I think a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not a very much like a future thinker. That kind of stresses me out. And so
Marty McFly, anybody?
so like
Future.
I don't have like too much of like this vision of how I want my life to go because I just can't think about it.
Okay.
So like not so much for me, but I did like definitely expect things to be certain ways but
Was it what you thought it was gonna be?
yes and no. Like you always hear like coming home was going to be a certain way, like oh, it's going to be hard or you're going to struggle with these things, but I didn't realize how real those things were going to
So
be. I was
true,
like
bro.
people
So
really
true.
aren't making it up. Like they're not kidding.
I was like, I'll be fine, bro. Like, it
Yeah.
is what it is. Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump into what you're doing now.
Okay.
What's taking your time? What are you doing now? What's Baylie doing post mission life?
Work and school, basically. That's my whole
What
life.
do you do for work?
I work at an Instacare in Provo, and then I
Nice.
also work at the MTC.
Another MTC. Hey, coworkers.
Nah.
Not
what do you
well-
do at the MCC?
Aren't you the mission president? Oh no, sorry.
Yeah, actually, I'm training.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
By who? By Outer Holland or?
Well, he's not doing too well these days. I don't know if you
you're right. So
heard,
Outer Cook.
but yeah.
Oh, because
Okay.
he's cooking
Okay,
it
cool.
up, baby. There you go.
Yeah. So I work for a department called the Online Teaching Center, but I basically train social media leaders in missions on how to use social media, and I also create Facebook ads.
Very interesting topic of social media. And this is why. Austin, bro, were you a big fan of social media work on the mission?
You know,
Honest, bro. Just
Baylie-
I don't even want
Baylie
to
and
hear it, bro. Just yes or no.
Right here. Baylie and I, we talked about this, right? She was a social media specialist or whatever back, early on, back in Toledo, actually, with my super short companion. Johnson. His name's Johnson. Oh, Johnson.
I think he's coming on the pod. I think we'll give him 2 chairs.
We'll get him a couple weeks.
a little booster seat.
Yeah, we'll get him a booster suit for sure. No, but we talked about it. She goes, "What are your feelings on social media?" And I vividly remember just being like, "I hate social media.
You hated it.
I did not like."
Did we ask you that?
Yeah. And I
don't
remember.
remember.
I
Did that hurt
remember.
your feelings? I hate that he said that.
The fact that she doesn't
Wait,
remember.
was this
no.
on the Mish?
This is on the Mish. This is on the Mish. Well,
Maybe I do remember this.
Here's why.
Because I remember this now.
Dog, bro.
Here's why, bro. Because they said be honest, so I was honest, right? And when I thought of a mission, right, I was not thinking social media. I was thinking knocking doors. I was thinking talking to people. I was thinking teaching lessons. I was thinking baptizing people. I was not thinking sitting at home talking to people through a phone, right? Maybe a phone call. But on social media, that was not my vision. That's not what my brothers did. That's not my dad did. That's not what my uncles did. That's not my vision of a mission, right? And COVID hit, and that changed, right? And that's the Lord's plan, right? Yeah. I've accepted that now, right? But at the time, I did not like social media. And it got better throughout my mission. I never, ever did love social media. But I remember at that time, I was not a fan of social media. Hate's a strong word, so I'll change it to not a fan.
Yeah. Wait, but sorry, before I move on and I ask you about the social media work, what did you not like about it?
Just it didn't feel like I was actively like sharing the gospel with people. I couldn't get people to reply, or it would take days.
Yeah.
But I can go out to the streets. It can be the dead of winter. I can go out to the streets and I can share a scripture with someone.
Yep.
And they might not accept it. They might not give me their phone number, or I might not ever talk to them again. But I shared a scripture with them, and I bore my testimony. Right. And that wasn't always an option on social media.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
They'd leave me on red, or they'd block me, or they would never reply, or or something like that. And it just felt like I was not wasting time, because no effort's wasted, but it felt like it wasn't used as effectively as it could.
Yeah. I feel like just sitting right here in the middle, I feel like someone really wants to answer that question and just like.
And she probably does, right?
Slap
Because
you with what's going on.
and honestly, and like I said, it got better throughout my mission. Like
Did it though, bro?
It did.
How better? How better?
Not great. Like I said, I still never.
Is it one of
Slight
those like
improvement.
it's one of those like prospered by degrees type action?
And 1% better. Not by day, but maybe by year. Got 1% better year by year.
You know what? That's what matters.
No, but I'd love to hear this, right? Because now you're working with them, with the social media aspect of the missions, right? And so clearly it means a lot to you, and I respect that, right? Hopefully you didn't take offense to anything I said.
No, not at all.
Share us a little bit about what you do and why you love what you do.
Yeah. No. I think it's funny because like what you just talked about here is like one of the, like you just highlighted the like key talking points, the main struggles of like all missionaries with social media. Like I hear that doesn't offend me because like I've heard that like so many times when I'm talking with SMLs, social media leaders.
It's the same.
It's the same story, over and over again, because it's so new. Like it's such a new thing that people don't expect it. That's not what they think of when they think of a mission. But for me, I think, and also I think that's why it can be hard. There's things that's like we don't know because we're still learning how to use it. Like it's not like people have been knocking doors for hundreds of years.
Yeah, it's what, less than 3 years.
Yeah, so it's like less than 3 years. So it's like
new.
So you kind of know what's going to be effective when you're going to knock on a door. We're still figuring that out with social media because it's such a new thing. But I love doing it because for me on my mission, like I saw the miracles that came from it. Like I know that it's something that is like inspired, that we needed at this time, that like obviously came for a reason. And I think it's cool, like the amount of people we're able to reach with it. And even just like, not to get into like numbers and stuff, because I know that's maybe not what it's about, but like data wise, like I look at a lot of data and it's like super effective. Like if you're looking just straight at data, it's more effective than a lot of other things. And so it's really cool to see that. But I also love what I do now because I love still being involved in that. I love talking with missionaries, and I also love being able to like have a job that's like focused on Jesus still. Like that's something that keeps me centered, I think.
So do you train the actual social media leaders out in the field? Yeah.
So I'm over 19 missions. I'm the trainer for 19 missions.
Dang.
Wow. What area? Like, are you allowed to share?
Yeah. North America Northeast area. So I have like 10 missions there, or 11 missions there, and then I have 8 in North America Southwest.
Oh, there you go.
So
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
There you go.
That's awesome. Sure. And have you feel like maybe this is a bad question, have you feel like you've actually like, I don't want to say made a difference, but have you found joy in like helping them and like seeing their, like through you seeing them progress, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
Bad question, but
no. That's like, I get what you're saying. It's hard for me because I have a hard time. Like that's was one of my struggles on the mission, is feeling like I was making a difference, like doing something. But I've had some cool experiences even like this week where there's like a mission that I've been working with, and they got new social media leaders like right when I started. So I've been with them from the beginning. It's been like the same elders, and I've seen a ton of growth, and we've talked about it this week.
There you go.
And that's like, it is really fulfilling. It does bring a lot of joy in that way, because I can see them like serving and like receiving revelation and like applying things, and it's really cool to see like when they get excited about miracles and when things are happening for them. So
for sure. I think just a lot of people, like, social media is super new to them, and like my problem, and I feel like a lot of missionaries' problem is you really don't see like the miracles of it right there.
Yeah.
And it's super
It
tough.
takes
It's definitely a long game. It's definitely an investment.
Gratification.
Yep,
Definitely is.
for sure.
So like for those missionaries out there, or even for those people who try to share the gospel online or on social media, and they're feeling like that, they're feeling like, oh, it's not going to work, or it just takes too much time, I'd rather be outside. Like, what advice would you give them to continue to use social media to find people?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think you're like obviously really right about that. Like, it takes time. And so you have to be consistent with it, because if you're expecting it to happen right away and then it doesn't and you give up, then you're never going to see anything come from it.
Yeah.
So you have to be consistent. Like, you have to keep at it. And I also just know and believe that like God keeps his promises. Like, he's true to his word, and
Amen.
He's promised that like we'll find people that way. And so it's going to be fulfilled.
Yeah.
And that's just something we have to trust in.
And you can look at it like this too, right? Like the amount of resources, right? I mean, they literally have people at the MTC that are working with missions to do this. But the amount of resources that they put and time that they put into social media, clearly the Lord wants us to be using it.
Right.
Right. And these are kind of the conclusions, right? Everything you've been talking about are the conclusions I've come to realize like throughout my mission, right? That helped me become more open to social media, right?
Right.
Like, yeah, the numbers are there, right? The statistics prove it.
Yeah.
Right. The research and the fact that the Lord is putting so much time and effort into it, right? Like I 100% believe in revelation.
Yeah.
Right? And I know that the brethren of the church, the apostles, wouldn't be having us doing this as missionaries if it wasn't from the Lord.
Yeah.
Right. And it took me a while to gain a testimony of that.
Yeah,
For
sure.
Right. But at first it was a trial of my faith. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't enjoy it a whole lot. But
For sure. And you're not alone in that.
And it takes time to get used to it. But I finally did. Right? Did I ever see a ton of success come from it? No, I really didn't. Right? And maybe that's
okay.
user error. Right? Maybe that's because I was terrible.
Probably was, mate.
And it probably was. I needed someone like Baylie to help me out.
Yeah, dude.
But I don't know. Like I came to those conclusions as well, like over time.
Yeah. I think to your point, like they've even like there's a new edition of Preach My Gospel that has more technology based things in social media. Like it's a thing. It's happening.
It definitely is the future of missionary work. It's definitely the outdoor work and the social media. You combine them together, game over, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need all
Game
things.
over.
It's reaching all four corners of the earth for sure.
All things.
Exactly. Just real quick, Nathan behind the camera, how long have we been going for? Sorry, everyone. 35 minutes. Oh, we're on track. Keep it up. Perfect. Yeah, just going back to social media, it definitely is a great tool that the Lord has given us. It does take a while for it to kind of come into, miracle time, but
I think it reaches so many more people though.
It does.
Right? Like think about all those people that never answer the doors for people, especially post COVID.
exactly.
Yeah.
So many people, like I literally knew they were home. For a fact, I saw them in there. I heard them in there. I knew they were home.
People through the
They
window.
wouldn't answer the door.
Yeah.
Right? You can easily reach those, maybe not easily, but you can reach those kinds of people on social media. Or the people that just aren't home at that time of day when you're knocking doors. Maybe they work all day and then they come home at night. Or maybe they work all night and they sleep all day.
Yeah.
Right? Those are the kinds of people that you can reach on social media. It opens doors, it opens opportunities to truly spread the gospel to all four corners of the earth and to reach everybody.
Yeah. It does open a lot of doors that way. And I think something else that I love about it is that I saw on my mission and now, because it's so new, is that like we're still figuring things out. And so it's cool to see like something click or something new be tried, like to be part of something that we kind of are still figuring out. Like to try new things and to figure out like what's working and what isn't, like trial and error a little bit. And I think like even though it's through a screen, social media has the potential to one reason I loved it is because I was able to like build connections, because it does take a second. And so there's people that like I talk to on social media on my mission that I still talk to now. Like I still have friends because I actually built like a genuine connection, whether or not they progressed. So that's something that I really like about it.
Actually, it reminds me of a super crazy question I've always wanted to ask someone. So, in social media, like for the elders, we always felt like,
Oh boy, I think we all know where this one's going, Caleb.
no, I'm just curious, bro. Like, how did you handle those bot type old guys in the basement? Kind of just like how do you?
I didn't talk to many old guys in their basements, I don't think.
But you know what I'm talking about. You know, like those just
The weird dudes
accounts,
that
you know?
don't have the right intentions.
Or they just want to meet because they're sister missionaries. Like, how do you even deal with that?
You
Because I've heard many stories where people are like teaching 4 or 5 sick people,
Yeah.
and that sister
Gonna get
transfers out,
baptized people.
getting baptized the wrong day, and then they get transferred out,
Gone.
and then gone skis.
Never heard of again.
Like, it's kind of
see, that happens not just on social media though.
For sure, that definitely happens.
Yeah,
I
but
feel
on
like
social media,
I feel like we're talking numbers wise. It happens more.
Check the stats, bro. Pick the stats up.
Put them up on
Yeah.
the screen.
Put 'em on the screen real quick there, Nathan.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I think it is frustrating a
Yeah,
little.
I bet.
And like I mean, a lot of times you're just like restating your purpose. You're like, yeah, this is actually what I'm here for. Because their intentions start to show after a while.
Like late night lessons and type of shit. Or sitting super close to them at church. Yeah, it's kind of tough.
Yeah, I didn't have any that for me that ever like really progressed that far when they were like
Yeah.
talking to me like that. But I have had a couple weird conversations. He thought that was really funny.
I just didn't
know,
see
man.
this going here tonight.
No, I just like I was just super curious. I was like, how do you deal with that, dude? Because I mean, we didn't really deal with that. I mean, no one really
not
wants to
really.
talk to us, anyways.
Yeah, you're right.
You just like restate your purpose, or you'd be like, sorry. Like I did have a couple weird conversations,
Yeah.
and it was like we just kind of stopped
Yeah, for
talking after that.
Okay,
Or-
so I have a question. It's similar topic, but not as
He
weird
didn't
as
even want to
Caleb.
talk about this, and then he's like, "Yo, let me
He's
get a
like,
question in."
Let's get into it.
No. Well, the question is different. It's post mission. So how?
Okay.
So right. So we all know that like with technology, there's specific things that we have to do to make sure that we're safe on technology.
Mm-hmm.
How have you continued to keep up those positive habits
You talking about safeguards?
not necessarily safeguards, like not using
Love the
safeguards
safeguards.
post mission, but like how are you still using your phone in a positive, uplifting way?
That's a good.
Is kind of what I'm going for. Like technology
That's a good
can be
question.
beneficial, and that's why we have it. But it can also be terrible.
Oh, it's
so
rough.
what are some ways that you've used like post mission to make sure that you're using technology in a positive way?
Yeah, I think that is something that's hard. That's a great question. It's something that's hard because I love, like, I've always been like a social media person. Like, I love just like watching, consuming, like being part of those things. But I think something that I learned from the mission is that like the reason technology was created and social media was created was for furthering the work of the Lord. Like that is the central purpose, whether or not that's what most people use it for.
Yeah.
And so I try to have my social media be something that is still reflects that and still like takes time to like talk about Jesus and like glorify him in that. And I also think like something that's really positive about having technology and social media is like being able to stay connected with people and communicating. Like
Absolutely.
it's really easy. I feel like God uses that a lot. I'm not gonna like assume things, but like promptings to reach out to people are
Yeah.
so easy because you can just send them a text, right?
Exactly.
And so I think that's something that is really positive and we can use to our advantage is like you can check in with people, you can respond to those promptings, you can like stay in touch that way.
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing for our generation because like our parents and our parents, like when they went on their missions, like they never heard from their recent converts ever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like they moved, no address.
Yeah. Done.
Ain't no letters going nowhere.
Done.
Yeah.
That's kind of a hypocrite comment because like honestly, I haven't really reached out to any of my recent converts. But if you're watching this, subscribe to the channel. But
Send this to them. After.
exactly. I'm sorry, guys.
That's how you reach back out.
I'm sorry. But I definitely agree. It's definitely a lot easier, and it is a blessing on how many people you can reach that you've met on your mission. Even like just random people. Like what we used to do is, if we couldn't get like a phone number or something, we just get their social media.
Yeah.
Get their social media. Super easy. And then they'd be posting some weird stuff, and then you block them. But that's just how it is. But I want to change gears real quick. Let's talk about our favorite topic. Let's get to some dating life.
let's go.
I knew that was coming.
Let's get it in
I love
there.
this, I love this,
Let's
I love this.
jump in before we finish up. Yeah, how's dating been?
It's been okay.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It is what it is.
I'm gonna jump straight to it.
Yeah,
Okay.
jump in there, dog.
Get there.
Oftentimes people from the mission, they are like, yo, I'm gonna hit up so and so, right? The question is, has anybody from the mission reached out to you and just been like, hey, like we should go on a date, or have you gone on a date with anybody? Like,
Yes, I have.
you have
You
gone
wanna
on a
go-
date with somebody, or someone's reached out?
Yes and yes.
Okay, no names. We don't need
I'm
names.
not named-
How did the date go?
They've all been good. They've been good.
Oh, so multiple dates.
Yes.
Different elders, like different guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Okay, I'm not trying to say that.
9 months is a long time. It's a lot
Yeah,
of
9 months
dates.
is-
I'm not trying to say that. But yeah, no, everyone's like, I love everyone from the mission. Like, so it's been fun. It's good. We have something to connect on. Like, they've been good dates.
Okay. Was there like a favorite date out of all of them?
All of the mission ones that I've been on the mission, or just in general.
We'll broaden it. Now, there's no names anyways, so broaden it. Just
in
has
dates
there
in
been a
general.
favorite date, and what did you guys do on that date? That was like, this is for you guys out there, like those guys. That
Yeah,
are
we're
like,
just
oh, man,
trying
what
to
do I
get-
do?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I got a
exactly.
cute girl. Like, what do I do with this
Get your
girl?
note-
Like, what
get
should
your
I do?
notepad out, boys.
I might even use this one day, maybe. Who knows?
Probably.
But
Okay.
favorite date.
Honestly, I like maybe this is just me, but I feel like most girls like are okay with things being pretty simple. Like I just like simple and like a chance
Yeah.
to get to know people. And so like one of my favorite dates that I've been on is we just like went and got a tree and just like talked in a cool spot.
So you got a treat?
Yeah, like
Oh,
a
okay, so you got
I
a
heard
tree.
tree.
I
I
was
heard tree. I was like, oh, that's
We
where that thing
went
came from. Like,
got
okay.
this tree.
Wait,
Yeah.
hold up.
We went and bought a tree together. We put our
life?
names into it. We planted
No
it, and we'll come back
way.
in
And the
20
rest
years.
is history. Yeah.
Dang. Wow.
No, just
There
like
you
something
go.
simple like that, like getting a tree and going and
So
talking,
are you
like
more
getting
for
to
like
know.
more like for the vibe, more for like the conversation?
Yeah. Well, and for me with dating, like I care less about the activity and more about who I'm with. So really it doesn't matter
Respect.
what we do if I'm like
Yep.
having a good time with the person I'm with.
the vibes are right.
That's
Exactly.
like so like that's just me. I know some people like really like to like do fun things. Like of course
Yeah.
you like that.
Memories. It
Yeah.
can be memories for
But,
sure.
yeah. But
Like going up the canyon, going on the lake, or
Yeah,
Yeah.
doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
but like you can go on the same date with two different people and you're like, oh yeah, this was my funnest date and this one wasn't because
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Depends
sure,
on
for
who
sure. I
you're
get what
with.
you're saying.
So-
For sure.
But I think that's what it is, right? Like obviously we date to find our eternal companion. What are you looking for in your EC? Well, what is it?
what did you just say?
In the
EC.
EC.
In the
EC,
Eternal
cuz.
Companion.
I have never heard that
you
before.
have.
Literally just made that up just now.
Just now he said that.
It's inspired by the spirit.
I'll give you some examples. Like for
Okay, give me some
myself,
examples. What are you
obviously,
What are you looking for, bro?
shoot.
You can't just say me.
I just
bro.
shot myself
You
in
can't
the
just say me
foot.
or something like that. Like,
No. If you're out there listening to it and this is you, hit me up. But
Oh wow, he's trying to find his wife from this.
he's using this to find his EC
Hey,
right
it's
now.
called networking,
No,
bro.
no, no, no,
That's
no,
not
no,
that
no, 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 no.
He's-
Cause
You don't
no,
get to
honestly,
do
on the
that.
real though, definitely looking for someone to take to the temple. That's definitely number one.
Amen.
I definitely learned that since I've been back. Like in my mind, I was like, I gotta date some non-members, maybe try baptism. It ain't working out. So definitely looking for that one who.
Didn't work on the mission either. So.
Yeah, it ain't working out, dude. KI's are done, bro.
Oh
I'm not
my
reporting
gosh.
KIs anymore. No, on the real though, yeah, definitely someone to take to the temple. Someone who would be a good mother. That's probably the biggest one for me. Is
How do
like
you judge that, bro?
there's a few things that I judge. Is actually you really can't judge it. It's more just like
You can just tell.
yeah,
You can just
you
tell.
can
if she
tell
has that
who's
side to her for sure.
who's there for fun and who's there to really be a good mom, right? Obviously, like that family is tip top shape for me. Where I
And
wanna
for the
be.
Lord, right? I mean,
Exactly,
that's
bro.
why we're here.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I feel like that's pretty simple what it is,
Yeah.
but I feel like you gotta keep it simple these days. You know,
Yeah.
like a lot of people are like, oh, I need this. They gotta be looking like this. They need to make this, or they need to drive this.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it is cool, but down deep, like I want a good mother, bro, a good wife, and obviously I treat her as best I can. And but this is not about me. Let's go back to what Baylie was talking about.
Amen.
I mean I think my answers are pretty similar. Like someone that like loves Jesus more than they love me is something that I
Put it on a t-shirt. What the heck? Put it on a t-shirt. Holy cow!
like.
That's the title of this
What
podcast.
the-
I need someone that loves Jesus
More than
loves
me, bro.
like. You guys are so funny.
No,
yeah.
no, that was actually kind of heat, low key. But keep going.
Yeah, I don't think I came up with that. I'm not going to take credit for that.
Oh,
I've
you
heard
didn't?
other people. No. But
Now we gotta go find who.
And then we gotta edit
Yeah, I
it
don't-
out.
Anyways,
I-
back to the EC.
Yeah.
So that's something that's really important to me is someone that like I can have an eternal family with. Like
Yep.
that's the goal overall. I think, but like as far as like characteristics, things like loyalty and communication are super important for me.
Yeah.
Communication's
That's
huge.
it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And honestly, I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm the best communicator, so that's something I'm working on myself. But yeah, like those types of things are what I'm looking for. Just
There you go.
also someone that like has drive or that, like challenges me. That like we're because to me like improving
Yeah.
is really important. Like constantly trying to be a better version of myself, and I feel like I need to be with someone that is also trying to
Someone that's
do
got
that.
goals and wants to accomplish.
Yeah.
them. Amen.
From all the dates you've been on, have you ever like met someone close to that where you kind of like, I could see it?
Like, have I ever thought there was someone in my life that I could
let me change
marry?
that question.
Or
I would say, no, I
like,
feel like,
have I met my husband yet? Is that what you're asking?
Now we are dropping names. Who's this guy? Get him on the pod.
The answer is no.
Yeah,
so,
no, definitely.
Like, have I met my husband? Not like.
Yeah, for sure,
Anyway,
for sure.
but
I think that was a stupid question. I think my question
It's
was
not a
more.
stupid
Let me ask you a better question.
Yeah, you go.
I got you.
Yeah, hit me up.
Okay. Biggest red flag
Wait. For someone else or for her?
for someone else? No. We don't need exposure like that for someone else. Like in a
the right
guy,
shoes.
What are my red
what's
flags?
one of the biggest red flags that you could see?
Yeah, you see it, game over.
that's hard. I feel like it's some of those things is just like you kind of know it when you see it type things. It's hard to
Agree.
pinpoint it.
Yeah.
But I think it's just kind of the opposite of like what I've said. Like when you can see,
Lack of drive.
Yeah.
Lack of loyalty.
yeah, or like
Lack of
Jesus.
lack of
communication.
Jesus,
Yeah.
maybe.
There you go. Okay,
Yeah.
fair. Not the answer I was looking for, but we'll,
Sorry,
we'll
what
take
what
it.
were you looking for?
Yeah, what were you
Like a
looking for,
like a
dog?
specific answer, like a big red flag. I don't know.
Honestly, something, and this might just be personal for me, but I really, it bugs me when people like are rebellious because they think it's cool, or they like do things just because they're trying to.
Is that you, bro? Like,
Wait.
Sorry, I'm not trying to call
Time
anybody out.
but we weren't talking about you. We had to start talking about us.
time out.
Holy cow.
Everything
I
I
wasn't trying to call
did,
anybody
I
out.
had permission,
Shots
bro.
fired, bro.
Everything I did, I had permission, bro.
I wasn't trying to call
Where's
anybody
a red
out. I'm
flag,
just saying.
dude? Hold the flag, dude.
Give me the red flag, bro.
Sorry,
My bad.
was not my intention with
How you
that.
gotta come on my show and disrespect me like that, dude? What the heck?
I didn't say anybody's name.
All right, time to
I
wrap
think
it
you're
up.
taking that for yourself.
Delete the whole episode, bro. Nah, I'm just kidding. No, for sure. I think, dude, yeah. One thing I learned about dating, dude, red flags are real, bro.
Yeah.
They're so real, especially when it comes to just like gospel stuff. Obviously, no one's perfect out there for the gospel.
For
things.
sure.
But there are some standards out there.
I think one of my biggest red flags is being hypocritical. That
Yeah.
just came to mind right now.
Like,
right, like
for you or someone else.
not for me, like for someone else. Like if I see someone else being a hypocrite, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's red flag. Right?
Yeah.
Like huge red flag, because if they can't be honest, they can't stand up, if they can't like say what they're gonna do or believe what they're saying, like, or do what they're saying,
Yeah.
it's just like, what else are you lying about, or what
Yeah,
else are
yeah.
you
Yeah.
not telling me? You know what I mean? Like, and you can think about that in the gospel too.
For
Right?
sure.
If someone's like, hey, like, are you reading your scriptures? Like, you should be reading your scriptures every day, or you should be going to the temple, and they're not doing those things, or they're skipping church, right? It's like that Spider-Man meme. Like, you guys seen that Spider-Man meme? They're like all pointing at each other. Yeah, exactly, right now. Right? So it's just like that. It's just like,
We all did that at the same time.
but I feel like that's one of my biggest red flags. So
Well, that makes sense.
I mean, I don't know. It's just like one of those things where it's just like, if I see that, it's
Thanks
like,
for sharing, man. I appreciate that.
sorry, bro.
I
So
know
that's the
it's
response I was
I know
looking
it's a
for.
big deal for you.
Something
There you go.
specific.
Did I?
But-
Well,
no,
did
you
my
got it. You
response
got
just
to it.
be
You got to
was
it.
it specific enough?
Respect
Okay.
to the response.
Definitely
For
respect,
sure.
respect.
Thanks.
Well, we've been going on for a good amount of time. Have you enjoyed it? Did you like being there?
Yeah, I've enjoyed my time here.
I think you have to say that. That's what we put in the
No.
contract.
I mean that.
Yeah.
I mean that genuinely.
Do you believe it?
Absolutely.
I believe it. Too.
I think that's
I believe it too as well. So a little tradition we like to do on guest sign is after we have a good time, talk about some good stuff, have a good laugh. We love to end on a high note. Love to end on something spiritual. And we usually do it by testimony or by a question or like an experience or something like that. But so for this week, I wanted to ask you, good old Baylie Evans, not really if, I want you to tell us an experience that you've had since you've been back that was caused because of your mission.
Like something that I couldn't have had otherwise, or that I like.
Yeah, something that happened on your mission.
Something you can like directly relate back
And know for a
because
fact
of your
that it was
mission.
because of that. We'll let you ponder it for a second.
Yeah, I might have to think about that one. You know, this is kind of general, and maybe I'll get more specific as I go, but I feel like my life right now is I'm in a completely different spot than I was before the mission. Like, I was going to school in a different place. I was doing different things for work, like things like that. And when I got back, I just felt like I had all these opportunities lined up. And I was like, the opportunities that came because I went. Like, I wouldn't be able to do what I do for work right now if I didn't have the mission. Like, that's something that specifically comes to mind. And so I just feel like God was looking out for me in that. That's really broad, though. That's really general. I think, well, one thing specifically, I guess, this is really specific to the mission, but like I said earlier, I went back a couple months ago now in July. And I spent I got to go back because someone that I taught was getting endowed.
Who was that? Who?
His name was Al.
Oh, shoot.
No, he was in Riverview,
Okay.
downriver,
awesome.
Detroit area. But
That's awesome.
obviously that's something that never would have happened if I
definitely.
hadn't gone on my mission. And that was something really special, like really cool to see. Because when I first started teaching Al, he was one of those people where I was like, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. Like not that maybe that's a bad attitude to have about anyone.
It's realistic.
But he was a pastor before, like baptized all of his kids, like that type of stuff. And it just seemed like he wasn't going to make the changes, and it took him a while. But it was really cool to be there for that. And then even just beyond that, like, we visited people the whole time I was back, the whole week we were there. And like the conversations that I was able to have with people, and like just like the relationships with people out there, is something I wouldn't trade for the world. Like, it's so special, and it's really cool because when you're there, all of those people you were connected to because of Christ, right? Like, that is the reason that you know all of them. And so that's like a common ground that you have, and you can you can feel that there's something in those relationships like that. And you obviously, everyone's sent where they're supposed to go for a reason. And so you can know that those, like, at least for me, I feel like those relationships are ones that were meant to be in my life because God sent me to them, or sent them to me. And so I'm really grateful for those people and the time that I was able to like go back and visit them.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. I think, just adding on to that, how you went back for Al, who got endowed. And we had another friend, John Garrison, getting endowed a few weeks ago as well. And seeing that, and then just hearing from what you said, I had me thinking. I was like thinking about our purpose as missionaries. Yeah, we know it's to find, teach, and baptize. But now to where, like, I'm a point where like, did the baptisms, cool. And back then I kind of felt like I did my job. Like, that's what I was called to do. That's what PMG wants me to do. I finished it. But now I'm starting to hear stories of people's recent conference getting endowed and going to the temple. And I'm rethinking about the people I taught on my mission and who I baptized and stuff. And I'm like, man, I don't know if they will ever go. And it's kind of depressing, if I had to be honest.
Not in this life, bro. Not saying that they won't go in this life, but maybe not in this life.
No, definitely. But just like, man, I thought I was chilling, man. God, baptism, like, that's what I'm supposed to do. But I kind of feel like my thinking was flat.
But you opened the gate, dog.
I get what you're saying.
Bro.
No, I get what you're saying. But it would be nice to go on a
It would be nice. I agree.
But you know what I think is cool about that? Like, is that the mission was just one point in our life. Yeah. So like the kind of the most exciting thing is that we still have a work to do. Like, whether it's with those people or not.
Definitely.
Like, there's
Thanks for that.
Like, there's still more.
No,
and
there
that's
definitely
what's
is.
exciting, I
It
think.
definitely is, and that's why we have a platform like this to want to share, our experiences coming up with the mission, but also for people to learn more about Jesus Christ. And me and this guy, we talked about it before we started it. It's like, what's the purpose of this? Are
Right.
we just here to have a good time? Are we here to just to catch up with people? But and we said the same thing. The purpose of this podcast is to help people come closer to Jesus Christ, and that's what it always has been. Like, we all had fun on our mission. We all had a good time. We all did some fun stuff. But at the end of the day, if you strip all that off, and all it was to help people come closer to Jesus Christ, and that's what it is, and that's what you've said for the past hour or how long we've been going.
Yeah.
Is helping people come closer to Jesus Christ, and because you've done that, you do it yourself as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's what I
for
love
sure.
about this gospel is like you focus on other people, and it comes back to you double fold.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Amen.
Amen.
Well, hey, thank you so much, Baylie, for joining us today. We really appreciated it. Thank you
Of
for taking the
course.
time out of your busy schedule to hop on Guest 99 with us and share some of those experiences.
Thanks for having me. It's been good to be here.
Hey, thanks for
Amen.
not canceling this week, but
Jeez.
no,
I'm never gonna
worries.
live that down.
No, never.
Yeah, it's not going to.
We might even delay this release.
Just because.
it was-
Oh
listen.
man.
We'll see.
But before we end, do you want to say anything to anyone listening? Do you want to shout out your Venmo or something? Or?
Yeah. Everyone pay me. Just kidding.
Appreciate it.
I'm poor. No. Yeah, I don't just
Last minute advice to
Last
to
minute
anybody that's
advice.
coming on
Advice.
mission.
What do you got first?
I think if we're talking about return missionaries, like they're really don't be so hard on yourself. Like things will work out. You know that. Like you know that. You've seen that. Things will work out. Like it's going to be okay. And even if it doesn't feel like it right now, that's okay, but it will be okay.
Amen. Good friend of mine, she always says, I'm gonna butcher this, but she said something along the lines of like, if it's not ending good, then it's not the end,
Yeah.
right? Like,
That's not bad.
and I'll have to think of what it actually is, and maybe I'll get that to you guys out there. But right, like if it's not good, then it's not the end, right? If it's bad, it's not over yet,
Yeah.
right?
Amen.
It's getting there. It's coming to the end.
Yeah.
And when it's good, that's when you reach the end.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Just
Exactly,
keep Jesus at the center and it'll work
And
out.
it'll all work out.
Amen. Well, Baylie, thanks for coming.
Of course.
We enjoyed your company. We appreciate your time.
Of course.
I think that's it for us.
Yeah.
Anything else, Big Justin?
Well, take it off. I think we're good.
I think we're good, big dog. All right, everyone. Like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you guys next week.
See you.
Peace.